Oh, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another stream and another part in the series working on this guy here. That's our AC Cobra, the 427 Cobra. So let's just get started right now, shall we? As you guys know, we got in the last time pretty much got the interior bucket all done. It's kind of hard to see because it's all black, but yeah, I would love to be able to really show you guys how that looks, but I might be able to if I convince my camera to focus on it. Maybe I might be able to. Let's see what I can do here. Go to that cam and go like this, and I might be able to show you guys if it'll focus. It's kind of hard to see, you know. It's just got some chrome knobs on the dash. You can see the instrumentation a little bit in there. Yeah, one red knob, you know, on the dash there. But yeah, nice chrome gear shifter. There we go. So yeah, that's the interior anyway, right? Pretty much as it sits. Yeah, so there's our interior bucket. That's pretty much done. According to the instructions, the next step is to put the bucket onto the actual frame. Now, I did paint the little fire extinguisher, and I thought the fire extinguisher needs a little bit of detail. It needs to have, you know, a white square on it with the, you know, all the warning and instruction things that fire extinguishers have. So I looked in the kit and I noticed on the decal sheet there isn't one. And so I looked around in my spare decals and stuff like that. I didn't find anything that really suits it. So what I did was, you know, the kit comes with, you know, a bunch of white stripes on the decal sheet. So I just took one, and of course I'm not using the white stripes, so I just cut a little square out of one of the stripes, and I just stuck it on there just a couple of minutes ago, just to put that little white, you can see it, especially in this camera, little white square on there. So I'm just going to take a little bit of paint, put it on my tiniest brush, and just kind of put a few little dots on there, just to kind of, you know, make it look like there's something written on there, even though you might not know what it is exactly. So actually, before I do that, I'm going to try, I got a Sharpie here, one of the really tiny ones. I'm just going to see if maybe I can try and draw on it and just see. I'm going to try this first before I resort to paint. If the Sharpie will go on there. Oh yeah. I think that's good enough. Just like that. Just like that. Gives you that little bit of, hey, there's something on there, right? And there's something on there. There's some kind of warning that it's too small to read, and that's good enough. And so they want you to put this just kind of lying down on the floor in there, just in front of the seat, kind of like this, just on the floor, kind of like that. That's basically how they want you to put it in. And I'm not against that. It is kind of a tight fit. But yeah, okay. I'll do that. I'm actually more inclined to maybe put it up against the rear bulkhead like this. If it was small enough to actually get away with doing that, I'd prefer to do that. You know? Or even something like this. It's unfortunately too big to do that, but that would be preferred. In in my opinion anyway. Because imagine, okay, you got a fire extinguisher on the floor here, now you're going to let a passenger sit in this actual seat. What if we tuck it down in here? That's pretty good. I think that's a good idea, like that, right in there. That's a much better spot. It goes against the kit instructions, but I don't care. That spot just makes more sense to me. That just makes more sense. Tucked out of the way. Like this. That's better. I think I like that spot. It makes more sense to me. And with it tucked down low enough, see, this bar is gonna go across here. So that's not going to interfere. At least it better not. See, there you go. It won't interfere at all. So that's going to be perfect. So I am happy with that. Now if I can get this out of here. Sometimes this comes out easy and sometimes it doesn't. All my test fitting. Okay, so interior's done, and so next they want us to actually put the interior bucket down on the frame. Oh, I'll show you guys this. I worked on this last night. I added our fuel injector rail and little connector block at the back there. Just like that, using my solder. I mentioned this in the last video at the end, that I was going to start working on that. It took me maybe about an hour to do this, and while I was at it, I actually made a spare block for my next little project. This guy here, you can see the little 4 holes that I've got through there, so I can run my fuel lines through there. And so for the next engine I do, I've got one already. So that's good. It's actually quite simple to do. I took a little bit of this styrene right there, and I took my pin vise and I drilled 4 holes, cut it, and then glued them beside each other. Maybe at the end of this video I'll show you guys how I did that. So I'll just make another one for you just so you can see the process and how I did it. Okay, back to this. So our bucket is going to glue down here. It kind of feels like it notches in really good. It's just a matter of where am I gluing it? What parts actually touch? Feels like it touches back here. Really good. Solid points back here. And I guess along the main frame, along here, really good too. These 2 notches actually go in here, inside. So, let's throw some glue on it. Where did I put my glue? Throw some glue on there. I always say throw the glue, but I'm not really throwing. And then at the back here, we seem to get some good contact back here too. Okay. Just hold that for a sec. I thought these little things actually went in the inside the frame, but they don't. They sit on the outside on each side. I want to get a clip and put it on here. Of course, doing this one-handed is going to be difficult. Okay, now I'm going to take my thin because we've got these frame rails that along the sides here that are touching. So I might as well take advantage of that fact and get them This one's not. This side is the frame's not touching. So is this? Ah, there we go. Let's get it to actually mount down on there. Proper placement is the key. All right, so our bucket is in. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. That should be okay. I think I can take that off now. All right, so I'll let this sit for a minute or two. While that's waiting and that's sitting up, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And I need to see, I don't know if you can actually tell, I need to spray another coat of paint on the trunk lid. And actually, in fact, I wouldn't mind doing just another coat over the whole body. Just because there's one or two spots I see I didn't quite get enough coverage right here on the front underneath. It's kind of showing a little bit faded, and you can see where I didn't get, it's almost white still on the inside of here on this spot. So I do need to do another coat. That being said, I also need to paint my hood. I did do a test fit on the hood. And I did wind up having to just massage this back hole just a little bit and get them closer to these holes in order to get it to fit. It's going to be absolutely perfect on there. And that's going to be perfect. So I do need to paint the hood. I do have one little imperfection right here where when I was cutting, it actually took a little chunk out of the plastic, but not all the way through. I don't think it's bad enough that it's going to be noticeable. Of course, in the white, it is very noticeable. But, yeah. So, I need to paint that also. Now, I've got my Mr. Surfacer Black sitting in a container of hot water. You might see behind me here in the little camera picture. Even though I've got half a jar, you know, I've got half a jar left in it, but I guess there's a little bit, it seems like there's not enough pressure and it just kind of barely comes out. So, you know, one trick you can do when your paint is getting a little bit low and it doesn't have the pressure in is you can put it in some hot water. You don't put boiling water, but hot water. Let it sit for a few minutes, and that will increase the pressure inside the can, and that will help a lot. That helps a lot as far as getting it to spray properly again. So let me get this ready, and first I'll do a coat on the bottom side here just to get that covered on this. See, already that's 100% better spray pattern than what it was doing last time I used it. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of do the back end on this, and I'll do a little bit under here just to get that done. Give it a little bit of coverage there where I need it. Nice thing about this Mr. Surfacer is it's very forgiving. Just got some overspray on my thumb now, but whatever. Okay, so that is done. No, it's not done. I gotta do the top side of the hood. Yeah, so this is holding nicely now. What have they got as the next step? The body. Putting on all the kibble and bits on the body. That's going to be next, which basically tells me our frame is finished, our chassis is done. I don't want to put the tires on until I've actually got the body on, right? That's going to be the big story of the day. I'm just looking at this, doing a test fit. The tire is coming up very close to the very top here. I might have to do a little bit more massaging on that to get that to fit properly on there. At least on that side. If I check this side, it seems to be pretty good. This side seems to be okay. It's close, but I think we can do it. I think we'll be all right. I have test fit this the whole together. Put the bucket in the body, put the frame on the body, put the tires on, and test fit. I have done that already. It's just, there's not really any play. It's extremely tight and close together, but that's all right. It's not a big problem. So the fact that we need to put all this stuff together on the body, and I've just literally just painted the body. You guys saw that. I can't really do that. So I'm going to put another coat on top of the hood here. Not another coat, but my first coat on top of the hood. Okay. The hood now officially has its first coat of paint on it. So, I can't actually put anything on the body right now, not today anyway. So let's look at our windshield. Okay, let's put this aside for a moment. We have our windshield. I've seen guys on the internet, on the YouTube, with the windshield and actually trimming the chrome. And I'm not sure exactly why they trim the chrome the way they do. Oh, Mega Boy. Hi there. I haven't heard from you in a while, Mega Boy. So, as I was saying, I'm not sure why they trim the chrome the way they do. Obviously, they're thinking it's too wide too bulky, something to that effect. So let's have a look at this. Okay, I'm going to take my razor file here. You guys, if you've watched my Gundam videos, you know I love this razor file. It looks a little nasty, but cleans up nubs beautifully. I've got a little imperfection on there where I cut a little too close with my nipper, and so I've got a little blemish in my glass. Now this plastic being the way it is, you gotta be careful when you're trimming around there, because you very easily just break it. Okay. Sorry, let me change the camera back. Very easily break it by mistake. And then now you've got a broken window frame. And you don't want that. So just be very careful. Now this little tab obviously needs to go through a slot, I'm assuming, on the top of the hood. I actually don't see any slot at all. See, they indicate holes here, but they actually show in the instructions here. Let me show you. They show you here where they want you to make holes in the body to put your accessories. Because they only have one single hole right here, and I guess that's going to be for the rear view mirror, and that's it. So they don't have any indicators, no little notches, no nothing. There's nothing in the bottom here either. They do have something right here. They got a little peg right there, and they got here, this one and this one. There's for your roll bar, and looks like they got something else. Yeah, right there. They do have a little notch right here. You can see that. I'm going to scrape away the paint so you can see. Right there. So that would be for the windshield. But where the two ends here go are going to be a little bit, they don't have anything notched for those. They got a big hole right here. I'm assuming that's going to be for the rear view mirror. You guys might notice there's little white spots. It's because I had washed this before I painted it, and I had still a little bit of water droplets on the inside of this, and that's why you see these white little circles. Anyway, so I can notch this out so that at least I get the notch for the windshield for the center. Not quite through. Just going very lightly. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I can just start to see some of the, as it's coming up through the top. Almost through on this line. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot of pressure, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm almost through. You might be able to see that. There, I actually got my blade through now. So just press down and wiggle like this to elongate that hole. There we go. I know it's not going to look that pretty up top right now, but that's not what I'm focusing on right now. Just getting the size done. There we go. See, it looks like crap up here, right? That's okay. Because in theory, this hole is going to be covered by this peg. So let's do a test fit. There we go. Perfect. Now, because there's no indicator of where I'm supposed to put the holes for the peg of the actual frame, I'm going to trim these off, these pegs on each side. So then this will fit flush on there. And there we go. Now I do admit, this bar looks pretty thick. If I take the windshield, put it in here, it sits in that channel just like so, and so that's fine, but man, that frame around there is huge. So I can understand why, when you've got this being so thin, the windshield glass itself is very thin. That's all you need. You only need that thickness to cover this glass. So it would be nice to kind of trim this like halfway at least. Like at least go halfway to trim that off and make that just a little nicer. That would be a very nice thing to do. I'm gonna have to get the chrome off of this section here, otherwise it will not glue in. Let's get both sides. Now mind you, this is all just preparation, because I still have to paint my stripes, right? Painting the stripes is going to be very easy, because literally all I'm going to have to do is mask this, mask off the parts I don't want painted, and then I'm going to paint clear, a nice clear gloss coat, and that's going to be my stripes, and that's all there's going to be to it. So that's going to be fairly easy. So next, we've got other little accessories that we need to put on there. There should be a hole back here for the roll cage, but there is right here. That guy right there. So, since they're just round holes, I'm going to grab my pin vise and I'm going to see what bit I have that is going to work for them. See if this bit looks like it's a good size. Yep, it's actually the perfect size for just about every other thing too. I'm not sure what that, they've got one right there. They don't show it on here, but yet there's an indent right there, but they don't show it in the picture. Interesting. Okay. Well, and then for the back, they show you only doing these three, and that's all there is. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do the 3 for the roll bar, and that'll be it. I think I have to change out my chuck. Let's see if this works. Yep. Okay. Start with this one. This one. Notice I'm not putting my finger right where the hole's going to come through. See? So I don't want the drill bit going into my hand. This back one seems to be really thick for some reason. So I'm a little skeptical about whether or not I'm in the right spot. I'm going to take my knife and just get rid of the burr on that. It looks like the right spot. It's just this hole is... Ah, they were through. Okay. Okay. There we go. There's our 3 holes. And I think that's all I'm going to do. Like I said, there's no indication on the sides. This could be one here. Maybe I've just missed it. I'm pretty sure I did. This one right here. There is that spot. I guess that's supposed to be where the windshield goes. There one, and then this one over here. But as you already know, I've already trimmed that off, so yeah, Okay, let's put my bits back in. I like spinning that, it's really fun. Fidget spinner, right? Okay. So that's that. Now, let's go back to our windshield. I do want to trim it, but unfortunately trimming it means the possibility of making it look really ugly, because I am not fantastic at sculpting. And if I trim that off, that means I'm going to have to rely on my sculpting skills to make this really smooth. I do not trust myself to make that look right. So I think I might just leave it. I might just leave it. I think I'm going to leave it. My instincts are saying just leave it. And just be happy with the fact that it looks smooth and it's round and it's nice. Okay, so that being said, I got to put the windshield in there. And this is all chrome, so any glue is not going to really stick. So I'm going to take some chrome off in a few places. These are kind of holes, that sticks out a little bit. So let's grab my file. And let's just kind of get rid of the chrome on the edges. Like that. Maybe on this edge too, where it's going to seat on the edge. Whoops. Okay. What I do with all my windows, I always use the Tamiya thin set. Except for an example where maybe I touched it with my fingers. It's really been the only time that I was not happy with the thin set. And that, just like that, is now done. It's like it runs down in and it doesn't go beyond the edges, and that's what I love about this stuff. I mean, if you really blob it on there, yeah, it will, but for the most part, it stays just right in between the two pieces and it doesn't go out, and I love that. Like, it doesn't bleed out from the edge, that's what I mean, and it just stays. So that should be fine. Fortunately, with the angle that this sits at, like this, you're not going to see the parts that I scraped away. So I want to let this sit and be nice, so I'm just going to sit that down there and be done. Let's take a look at my hood. I think it's definitely going to need to be sanded, because that looks kind of like crap compared to this. It kind of looks like crap, so I need to sand it a little bit, and I'm going to need probably 2 or 3 coats, because that's what I've got on the body. So I want to sand this down a little bit. again, I don't want to put too much pressure, especially with this here being what it is. So this is just 4000 grit sanding sponge. And see, you can see where I've done some filing with a file where it's not that smooth. So okay, so let's put another coat on that. Okay, let that sit. I might actually run out of paint in that can, and if I run out, then I'm going to have to I'll have to go to using airbrushing it. I've got a 1 on there saying this is my first one because I've got like 5 jars of this stuff, right? I've already put a ball bearing in there. In the event that I need to go to that and get that done. Okay. In the meantime, this is ready. I want to put a little bit of paint just on the insides of those because that's going to show when I put the windshield on there. When I put the windshield on, I want to hide the white in there, because you can kind of see it. You can kind of see that little tab sticking out, right? So I want to hide that. I want to hide that little blemish, which means right at the very top of this one, like that. And around that hole, and I'm going to do the same with these. Actually, I'm going to go from this side. There we go. Hidden nicely. A little bit of touch up on our little hole here for the intercooler. All right. That's done. Now, of course, I need some thinner. Clean my brush. All right. With that done, let's get masking off of our stripes here. Okay. So I'm going to use the kit stripes as a guide. actually going to have to, because I don't have masking tape that's thin enough. I don't have a 1 mil. This is a 2 mil. I don't have 1 mil masking to go to do the center. So I'm going to take this tape. Let's get a piece that's going to be clean. This, and I'm going to grab my ruler. That's the width I need right there. Go. Now we'll start with this, so I need roughly that length. I didn't do it long enough. See, I ran out. So let's use this on the front then. I should put the hood on. That would be the smarter way to do it. Right? That would be the smarter way to do it. Still didn't put this in the proper spot. I like to do this with the tape and just run it right down over that hole, and then I'll cut it in the middle, and then I can fold it in. But this way I make sure that it's centered, it's straight going up and down, and yeah. And yeah. Okay. So there's our center stripe. At least for this part. Now, trunk again. Let's try the trunk. So I need this much. You know what? I'm just going to use the rest of this. Fortunately, we've got some holes in the trunk that's going to allow me to line this up easier, because I know if I cover those holes, it's right dead center. don't know is if I've got the actual stripe centered. We're at about 22 millimeters. And we're over 25. So we're not centered there. I am kind of just eyeballing it. Without knowing exact center. Ideally, you could go with something like this, right? And measure right across. I think I'm going a little bit. I'm deviating to the right a little bit here. Another thing we can do, let's just do this. Nice big long strip. This is straight, right? And go. Come on. From the side of the emblem, and my strip's not long enough. See, I gotta go longer. That long. So we start, let's put it down beside this emblem. This is our front emblem. And if we're going to go straight, we're going to go straight across here to that emblem. And you see I'm not straight, am I? Which means, although this is pretty straight, I'm off. And herein lies the imperfection of a plastic molding. That is about as straight as I'm going to get this. That's about as straight as I'm going to get. So, now of course I need another one to go boink just across there. Kind of the tricky thing is getting it to wrap and be straight here at the same time, right? Try and show you it's a bit of a challenge to do that. Let's take a look at our hood. It's been a few minutes. Hood's looking better. Still got a little bit of an imperfection right there in the mold. What do they call that? The mold release. So do another sand. Maybe I'll use a 2000. Have I that a 2000? Yeah, I got a little pocket 2000 right here. See if I can. Want to hide that mold release seam. So I still don't have a lot of. It's not a very thick coat of paint on here. It's only 2 coats. So let's put another coat. That's a good thick coat. Might take a few minutes. Okay, let's do another cut. And get that stripe for the center. Okay, so while I'm at it, let's take a look. I need about that width. Sure. Right there. And that's going to go right here. But what I actually want to do before I lay that down I want it as close to lining up to that as I can. And by extension, I'm going to leave this piece of tape on the hood. There we go. I'm going to leave it on the hood. Or I'm going to leave it here so that when it's time to do the hood, it'll already be lined up. The nice thing about this is I'm only doing clear coat, so I don't have to worry about it being a different color. So that's that. So now it's just a matter of the hood, which I now have to wait. And I can put the hood on there, and then I can do this kind of more properly. But you guys are getting the idea of what I'm doing, right? Pretty much. So this is just kind of where I'm going to be working on this. So all I've got to do now, even my cut that I've done is still wider than that. That is really a narrow wide. So then all I got to do is just go, yeah, I'm going to put this there, and I'm going to put a strip of mask, and then I'm going to clear coat, and that'll be it. So, but that's pretty much it, right? There's not much. I'm basically just doing it as a clear coat stripe, right? Clear stripes, glossy stripes on a flat black background, basically. And so I don't really need to worry about it too much as far as that goes, right? So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave this for today. It's just a matter of getting the details done, and then we're going to go and put the two together, and then that'll be all fun. But we'll put the two together next time, right? I'll add my little tidbits next time. I'm just going to do the stripes. I'll do that off camera. I'll get that done so that we're prepared for next time. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for now, guys. My hood is almost dry, but not quite. So again, it's just a matter of hurry up and wait. And yeah, so like I've said already a few times, I'm going to leave it at this. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for all the support. You guys are really awesome. And yeah, so we'll leave it at this for now, and we will see you all in the next one.